All right, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day today. Gonna be working some more on the commission again. I am extremely tired again today. I know that's been like my MO lately. I don't know exactly what's going on with that. So, what we're gonna do today is we're going to be doing some coloring, some rendering of Octavia. That way, it's a little less, involved about me like coming up with things. I did get farther on Roa. Actually, let me go ahead and hop over here so you guys can even see what I've done here. I've got farther on Roa, but I'm still having some trouble with like finding some anatomy references. So I don't want to spend like the whole stream looking for that. So we're just gonna buckle in here and we're gonna color Octavia, starting with the dark part of her dress, since that is the largest part of the image. So let's see here. I'm definitely excited to work on this because I do really like how this design turned out. So let's see here. I think I'm trying to remember the exact colors that I used for the background. I think I had like a desaturated purple that I was using for the shadows. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And I guess what I'll do is I'll do these hard shadows first. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do the soft shadow first. That way, I know exactly where it's going to be cut off because it's kind of like a spotlight in this area here. So that'll help me figure out exactly where I need to do the hard shadow lines and whatnot. So let's go ahead and just erase away up here. And we're going to leave this down here pretty dark, maybe just like a couple spots over here and maybe over here where we'll lighten it up just a little bit. Overall, it's going to be like a kind of like a spotlight kind of shadowing. So let's go ahead and we'll lower that down quite a bit. So I don't want to make her too dark. And we'll lose all like the detail and whatnot. Nice. I'm glad you like the design. I I had to do it from pretty much from scrap. I mean, I definitely had a reference image to go by, but I wanted to have my own design in this commission. Sorry, words are really hard today. So I went ahead and I applied all of the character design principles that I have recently learned. So pretty happy with how it turned out. All the things that like I yap about and stream about, the rule of thirds, the 80-20 rule, putting all of the warm colors in the point of interest. Then, of course, we had the higher saturation as we get towards the point of interest. And then you pick a color that's very distinct, and you also place that towards the point of interest as well. Hence this teal boa here. So I think it worked really well. Plus the super red gem in the center of her outfit is also worked out really well. Yeah, I think the hardest part when it comes to rendering is making sure that you don't over render it, that you don't lose the the core of the all the detailing and all that. And then you also have to make sure, of course, that the material rendering shows that it's different materials that are being used in different parts of the image. So I'll probably be applying some texturing and whatnot.
What your kitty's doing? Be nice. Hey, be nice. Be nice. You're just sitting there. He was here first. Hey,
I
buddy.
don't know why these kitties have been just so aggressive lately.
Okay. Okay. Hey, he was
Trying to
here
think
first.
of the light blocking certain parts of it as well.
Leave him alone. I'll throw you out. Want me to get thrown out?
But this dark maroon color is one that I took from the reference that I did have. So that's one thing I definitely did take from
Come
it.
on.
So
Come on. Yeah, I know. But you know what? You're not being really nice. We're gonna do that.
thanks. Yeah, I think it works really well. Cause she's supposed to be like basically a dark queen. Like she was like a decent ruler, and then she uh, I guess got like corrupted. Maybe I don't know if it was by like the power or you know I don't know exactly how she ended up the way she did, but yeah, yeah. I thought that was a good touch. It took me a couple of tries to figure out exactly what color to use on the boa, and I was like, well, she's she's very like arrogant at the time, and the client told me that she is into like opulence and stuff at the time, so I was thinking kind of like a peacock kind of color for the boa would be like appropriate to kind of convey that. And it's also completely different from all the other colors, so it involves that design principle I was talking about as well, where you take a color and you just you splash it like basically like on somewhere you want there to be a lot of attention. I'm also not used to doing so many blonde characters, so it's actually kind of nice to get some practice with that. Have a little bit of light down here just to show that there's some folds. I noticed. It's okay. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a bias depending on like cuz like I have dark hair IRL, my wife has dark hair IRL, so I think it's a bias as far as like that goes, like why I always end up going with like characters with dark hair. Yeah, see? Exactly. That's funny. We proved the 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 hypothesis correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the same with me, pretty much. Except that I do the, like the dark hair. Like I said, like the bias. So it's just funny how our brains kind of like gravitate towards like things that are similar, like reflections of ourselves. Nice. Yeah, doing like straight up natural colors isn't always like super exciting, so it's nice to like take the colors, especially with like dark hair, because like you can mix like a variety of colors into it, because it can like reflect and refract like different colors. So not that blonde hair can't do that too. Like it definitely can. You could do the exact same thing. Oh my goodness, if my brush will register what I'm trying to do with it. There we go. Yeah, playing with like light and colors, and then of course just adding things that are just like artistic tastes. Basically, it's a lot of fun. I like it. I do tons of things all the time that don't exactly make sense. Like, but you know what? I want it to look cool, so exactly. The first step is learning the rules, and the second step is learning how to break them tastefully. I mean, as much as like anime is like stylized, it's all grounded in some form of you know reality with things. So start doing more subtle cuts down here, because we do want to still show the form. I wish that I'd actually done this before my my art senpai Mark Burnett put out a video about like the different types of folds, and like how to like recognize them, and how to have a general understanding of when and where to use them. But I think I did pretty good all considering. And again, rules aren't absolute or anything, so I just like getting like my art knowledge. I definitely prefer to get from professionals, so people that actually like do it for a living and make money off of it. Like, seems like the best source of knowledge you could get. Especially if that's like your goal. If it's like, it's okay if your artwork is just a hobby and you don't want to monetize it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But my goal is to monetize it. So got to learn from the people that already make their living off of it. I get really upset when people get like shitty about people wanting to make like money off their art. They're like, you should do it just because you love it. It's like, well, I need to have a job, and I would like to have a job that I love doing. So, you can suck my dick, basically. Those people are just those are the same people though that will try to swindle you out of like free commissions and free artwork. They're the same people. They don't actually care about how you feel about things. They just want things for free. So that's why they're like that. That's unfortunate. Yeah, exactly. Like everybody, everybody loves like doing art, but hell, we'd love it even more if like we got paid for it, or at least had like the respect we deserve for our time and our talents and our knowledge. So yeah. Oops. It's like I got some in here that I need to go back and add some shadow back in right across there. A little bit here. Yeah, I know, right? Well, so the main thing is like it's not even like so much like your actual artistic talent, which kind of sucks that it doesn't completely rely on that, because then everybody would be making money off of it that puts in the time and the effort and that kind of thing. It's more the and I was talking to Nixie about this because they were asking for advice. It's being able to get enough support from people that aren't also artists, because we're all in like the same boat. You know what I mean? Like we're all trying to monetize. Like artists can give you the emotional and the professional support, and that's great. But getting actual like followers that are non-artists, that are more on the consumer side of things, is the hardest part. Is getting people that are excited to support you by actually buying your craft, basically. That's the kind of support that's the hardest to get as an artist. So a lot of it has to do with actually like selling like your personality, pretty much, basically. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I really like giving people advice on how to like improve. Like that makes me feel good. Like when I see people improve, because my whole thing with art is I just love like sharing and collaborating and celebrating other. I mean, all of our successes. Like that's what I like most about art. But I honestly, even though I have the knowledge of where I need to get the support from, I don't have the knowledge to actually to actually get those supporters that I just talked about. Like that's where I fall short. Um, I need to figure out how to get like a consumer fan base, essentially. People that are excited to like, you know, actually invest in my projects. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hate it when people treat like creative adventures as like competition. That's not how it should be. Like, you know, like even though we most of us live in like a capitalist society, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have a capitalist mindset about everything. Because the capitalist mindset puts us as us and them mentality, and I don't like that because that's not how it is. There's all of us, and just because one person's successful doesn't mean that the other people can't be successful either. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, we could all like, work together to support each other and be friends, and then we can all like sit around and have a great time about how successful we are because we did it together, like just doesn't make sense to me. Like it's the same with streaming. Like, sometimes like people will like compare streamers to like other streamers and things like that. It's like, why? Like they have different content that you enjoy, so like why is why even put like a label on them as far as like their as like competition. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that's always also kind of like blown my mind is like, you know, if you're networking and you're getting a bunch of artists together and we all have like, particular things that we're like, strong at and particular things we're weak at, you could always like, you know, pull your resources, and then by the time you got everybody together, like you've got a whole team that can do like any project. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense to not work together, especially if y'all have the same goal. I mean, though, I used to have trouble with comparing myself to a lot of like professionals and whatnot. It used to like really like get me down and depress me that I wasn't like on their level yet. But it's like they're just in a very different place in their art journey. Like they were in my position at some point in their journey, and a lot of those same artists that I was having, trouble with like comparisons and stuff, I found out that they actually had lots of resources and lots of advice about how to get through those different points in their art journey to get where they're at, Like most of them have like Patreon, a lot of them have like YouTube videos, that kind of thing. So it's like, I decided to just take that advice because my goal was to get where they're at now. So listening to how they got there and then adapting that to my own skills is like how I've been progressing. And I don't do everything exactly how they did it. And it like you have to put your own flair on it, your own spin on it. And just gaining that knowledge gives you the ability to take the freedom and the flexibility to develop your own style and the way you do things. So and still have like similar success to your goal. Oh, that's nice. You have a good husband. That's what Havoc does for me. I mean, she really took like my whole outlook on like the perspective of things, and was able to change my mentality. Like I used to have a really bad mentality. Like my parents had instilled a terrible mentality in me about things, and she was able to help, change my perspective and get me to look at things in a different way. So, but I'm 100% for anytime I've gained knowledge about anything, and it can help not only myself but others. I will freely always yap about it and always pass it on. Whether people always want to listen or not is a whole nother thing, but you know what? They're adults and that's their choice. So, and it doesn't mean I'm 100% right either. So, what works for me might not work for them. But it's just nice to see. I get a lot of fulfillment when people do take my advice and it does work for them. Oh, yeah. I used to get a lot of crap from like my friends and stuff growing up because they'd be like, because they used to draw too, but they got into that mentality that I was just so much better than them that they would never produce anything on that level, and they literally just stopped working on artwork, and that used to bother me for a really long time. And now I know like it was their choice to make that decision to give up. So I can't control what they do. I can only control what I do. So, but they used to try to like guilt trip me like that, and I'm like, okay. Oh yeah. Hold on, let me save here, Alpha. Sorry. Yeah, seriously. Hey, Pansy. I don't hang out with those people anymore anyway, because like it's one of those things. Like as I've gotten older and been able to see things from a different perspective, I realized that my friends weren't exactly nice to me. So now it's my goal to only interact with people that are, nice to me, at least on a decent enough level, where I know they have at least like a modicum of respect for me. So, hey, I consider you guys my friends now. So, you guys are good people. You guys are really nice to me. You show me respect, that kind of thing. You're excited to come to my streams and hang out with me and listen to me talk about, whatever the hell I'm talking about. So, I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I know. I know. I know what you mean. IRL, I mean, I have a few, but we don't really get to see them that often. Like uh, some of them have kids, so it's a really difficult to coordinate around that. All right, let's see. Let's bring this down, and we're gonna duplicate. But yeah, I mean, like my goal now is to make friends that have similar ambitions to me, because I can't interact with anybody that doesn't have any ambition now, like at all, that doesn't want something, better for their life than what they have. Like people just like settling for some reason, especially when objectively it's not great, like just really bothers me. Yeah, you need positivity. Yeah, well, that's the worst part is like the complaining about it. It's like, well, you have the ability to take steps to fix this, and they just don't. They would rather just complain about it, and that's like the most like irritating thing in the world. Because I used to be like that. I used to complain about it, and it's like, I look back at it, and it's actually like a point of like shame for me that I was like that at one point. Like I'm embarrassed to even think back about how I used to be. Like, oh. Yeah, exactly. So my goal now is always constant improvement. It's always learning, gaining new perspectives, and improving. Not only myself as an artist, but myself as a person, that kind of thing. So that's actually how I ended up meeting Havoc as well, is because I actually I can be proud for myself that I did actually take the step to make the decision to start improving right before I met her, but she really like accelerated that improvement mentality and helped like put me on the right track. Nice. A world led by Pensy. I like it. All hail the Overlord Pensy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's just like the world itself, like, not even to get political at all, but the world itself is what I consider to be poisoned right now by a lot of like negativity, negative energy, and a lot of it is that it's just that us and them mentality that has been like imposed for like a very long time. But it's nice to see that people are starting to break out of that. They're starting to finally say enough is enough. You know, like it's really ridiculous. Like, well, that's like why when I'm on social media, I don't like if anything like negative or like political pops up on my feed, I tend to block it. I mean, I do keep up with it on different sites just to know what's going on in the world. Just in case like I need to know like, hey, we might get bombed or something crazy like that. But as far as like social media, like I just can't deal with that like anymore. With like where I am in life now, I'm just like this is ridiculous. Like let's just support each other and let's just like spread positivity through this outlet that we have. The fact that it's used to spread like mostly negativity and it's usually like people being awful just because someone is not physically in front of them to check whatever it is they're talking about. It's like that's just it's so childish. Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason that I keep in track of it. Like I need to know, when things are getting really bad, if I need to just leave or, where I can go that the situation might be less volatile, that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Like if I see something extreme either direction politically, I'm just like I can't interact with that anymore. Because I personally used to be bad about it too. Like I used to like my family is very very extreme left. That kind of thing. I mean, while I do agree with a lot of the things, like extreme in one direction or the other is still not good. I'm just for whatever makes everybody's lives better. Oh, he's from Poland. Yeah, yeah. He knows. He knows exactly. I'm sure he's like, IRL, I people also get confused about like my ethnicity or where I'm like quote unquote from all the time. So I have to be careful too as far as that goes. Like a lot of people think I'm Middle Eastern. I'm like I'm not, but you know. It's like if I spend any time out in the sun, I get very like dark. Nice. I mean, one of these days I'll know my actual lineage, but as far as I know now, I'm just like a mutt and I'm mostly white people, so mostly white people as far as I'm aware. I don't want to do like I always want to do like the DNA test, but then I'm like, I also don't want people knowing like my business and being able to track that. So I'm very wary of what you know what it would be used for. So yeah, people either think I'm like Jewish Middle Eastern or they think that I am like actually like Greek or Italian or something like that. I've had more than one person tell me that I look like I'm from like Iraq as well. Like people actually from like Iraq are like, "Are you sure you're not from Iraq?" I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I know where I was born, so." I get a little bit luckier with that because it's usually people that are actually Jewish think I'm Jewish, and then they treat me really nice. So I just don't. I don't correct it. I just kind of accept it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Thanks for being very nice to me. I'll take it. Oh yeah, people are very proud about like where they're from and their ethnicity and whatnot. And like I get it. As long as you're not being like detrimental to somebody else about it, like I think it's fine. But also the on the same hand, the people that are like they say they're like Irish or something, and they have like 2% maybe if they're lucky, and they like go all in on it. Like that's kind of obnoxious. It's like, dude, you're not actually from there. And that applies to any place, not just like people that just say they're Irish or whatever. Like, if I claimed any small percentage that I'm aware of, like it would be so many different places. And I can't say I'm from all of them. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean the stuff I'm aware of, I know I have a large percentage of being French. I have a pretty large Native American. I have a little bit of Portuguese, and then other than that, it is just mostly just like Welsh and a lot of like just white people. So, did you say that, Pensy? I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me go up and look. Oh my God, Pensy, I didn't even see that. I am so sorry. No, 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 no. If you're like, it was just an example. You know what I mean? Like, you get like boomers that are like, I'm Irish, and that's like negative 0.10% or some crap. And it's like, dude, shut up. It looks beautiful. Yeah, exactly. I feel like too, if you claim that you are like Irish and then you're like shitty about like immigrants, well, guess what? Now you're not allowed to eat Irish food because that's immigrant food. Or the people that are like, I'm like 0.1% like Mexican and then are like racist about Mexicans. It's like, dude, you can't go to a Mexican restaurant, you're banned. That means nothing. You can't even have Chipotle, even though it's like super like Americanized. Like you're not allowed. I gotta take your card. I put my hand on your chest if you try to walk in here. I think that would solve a lot of issues like immediately. And be like, well, you're not allowed to eat your favorite food anymore. Well, hey, Pansy, don't worry about it. You're beautiful. Like I said, it's another thing if like that's like the largest part of your you know of your heritage. Like that makes sense. But like when people are like I said are just like it's just barely anything. I'm like that doesn't count. Yeah, Germany looks pretty. I just want to be able to travel in general. Like I want to go like see the world and how it actually is. Like I have like the only perspective I have is like what I've learned like secondhand, and that's not what I want. Like I want to actually know about places and their culture. I want to like meet different people with like that have different values and their personality, and I want to do all that. Like that just sounds like so fun to me. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like like why stress yourself out on purpose all the time? I just want to relax and have a good time, and if somebody's doing something somewhere away from me and they're being a jackass about it, that's fine because it's away from me. It's not my business. But when it's in my face all the time, I'm just like, I can't go anywhere without this like stupid crap. Like I hate even just going to the grocery store. Plus everybody's like so on edge here like in the US that you never know who's going to pop off and just go on a spree, and it's like I don't want to be I don't even want to like entertain the thought of being like possibly being in that situation. I mean, I'm from New York State originally, and I do really love New York City. I actually like the fast aspect of things because when I do go out, I want to go out, get it done, and like bing bang boom, and then go back to wherever I am to chill. So I do move pretty quickly once I am out and about, but I try my best not to. I'm not rude about it though. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people get upset about like people in New York City and stuff, and it's like there's just so many people, and you don't know a lot of these people that it's like being blunt and being very straightforward and honest about like what's going on is usually the best way to get results there. And if you're not from there, that comes off as extremely rude. So I get it. Um, I get it from both perspectives. Like I'm not even from New York City, but if there's like tourists like in front of me just doing like the super like slow penguin waddle, it pisses me off like so bad. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like Havoc definitely has a whole aura about her. Like when she's upset, like you can feel it. Like it's like in Bleach, like her Ryatsu is like nuts. Like the spiritual pressure is just insane. But me, I'm more like I just have zero poker face. So if I don't like what's going on and you look at me, you're gonna know. I can't hide it at all. Which is also why I'm really bad at like tabletop and card games where you have to like uh essentially lie. I have so much trouble with it. I'm so bad at it. Oh yeah. No, you two would definitely get along. I love it too because people will be like, "Oh, this person's giving your wife a hard time," and I'm like, "Well, that sucks for them." Like if they're like threatening her physically or something like that, that still sucks for them. But I'll definitely I'm very protective of the ones I love. But generally speaking, I know that if somebody's giving her a hard time, they're having a much worse time. It's really funny. Or people would be like, "Yo, your wife is mean." I'm like, "Well, what did you do?" Like, it's not unprompted. I'm like, "You said something stupid, didn't you? You said like some misogynist like shit or something. Like, that's your fault." Well, now that I stand up for myself more than I used to, I can say some pretty harsh things like, but that just means that you've absolutely like crossed the line, and I am 100% not going to deal with it. Like I do have I can get pretty mean when I really just don't want anything to do with somebody, but it's very rare. Most of the time, I would rather just completely avoid that situation altogether and just remove myself from that kind of scenario. Oops, I did not mean to do this on this layer, or this fold, I should say. I didn't mean to get it back here. Let me erase away. Hell yeah, we have Pensie's champion size on our side. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's extremely rare if I have to get like that with somebody, but that's just like they've just absolutely crossed the line at that point, and at that, when I've given when I've given somebody like plenty of warning and plenty of like opportunities to like leave me alone and they still don't, it's like, all right, we're going nuclear now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same. I try to avoid people in general too because I don't want to get sick. Like, I really can't trust people to not go out when they have, like, something awful, especially like COVID. Like, people that, like, open mouth, like, cough in grocery stores should be immediately punched in the face, like, by something. Like, there should be a device that, like, has like a giant fist that comes out of nowhere and just punches them in the face while they're open mouth coughing. Yeah, I love this song. It's so good. In the building, everybody says go up
I missed
in the
it.
state of. Oh God, yeah. Okay, so I used to work for Starbucks for a long time. I used to get like people that would reach into like their bras or their underwear and hand me cash. And I'm like, I am not taking that. Yeah. Yeah, it's disgusting. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, well, that's all I have. I'm like, you do not have a debit card like anywhere that's like where it's supposed to be. Yeah, I did have to work during COVID, but not all of my job at the time was public facing. So that was good, but it just sucked because a lot of people were just like, I'm not wearing like the mask or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it does suck to wear it. Like, I get it, but it also sucks more to get COVID. So, oh no, 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 no. I'm sorry, Sally. That sounds awful. You were like in the thick of it, like the front lines. Well, thank you for taking care of people at least. That's important too. Oh no. It's like, shit, this is exactly what I do. Crap. What am I supposed to do about this? I can't just quit. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I mean, working in healthcare to begin with is a tough job, so gotcha. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, the nursing home would have not only been rough with the chances, of course, of getting it, but just be incredibly sad too with the people that passed from it. Like, I don't think I could handle that. I don't think I could handle all the death. I'm also like pretty sensitive to like spirits and whatnot, so that would probably affect me pretty negatively. Yeah, I couldn't imagine all the things that I would see all the time if I worked at a retirement home. saying hi to people that aren't there, and then be like, "Aw." It might be. It might be haunted. If there's a lot of like negative energy or just like a source of energetic things in general, like that's what they feed off of, so that's where they stick around. Well, I'm sure it's worse um with like retirement homes and stuff because people uh weren't their faculties weren't all there a lot of times probably when they passed. So I can only imagine the kind of confusion a spirit would have if it like didn't have as much like information, like correct information before it passed. It just gets attached to where it currently is. I mean, it's not like I'm like, an expert or anything, but that's just kind of how I feel about it cuz to me like um people are just energy and information in like a vessel essentially. So that energy can't get destroyed and that information doesn't get destroyed, so it has to go somewhere. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like reincarnation is also possible with the way I think about things because that energy has to go somewhere, so it's possible that it gets redistributed. It might not be necessarily in a human form, but that energy has to be put to use somewhere in the universe for things to continue to function. So, yeah, we have a house spirit that follows havoc around. I see her every now and then. There's also one that looks like a cat as well, like a another cat that we don't own. Oh yeah, it's probably still there. I mean, cats have the ability to walk between worlds anyway, so between the veil. Like I also don't believe like death is like the end of things either. It just doesn't make sense that that would just be like that there would just be nothingness like.
Yeah, totally.
Ads are so rude.
Mm-hmm.
You said they were done already?
They just finished.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, what I was saying is for me, it doesn't feel like death is the end of things. I think it just your energy, your information gets released from the your physical form, and then you either exist in a higher dimension where it's just energy based to begin with, and then that energy eventually gets like recycled back into something that makes the universe function, basically. Like, even with black holes, they've discovered that information actually isn't destroyed. It is um, it is let back out as a different form of radiation. It's called Hawking radiation because Stephen Hawking discovered it. So I think that's pretty neat. Oh yeah, I feel like I feel like your emotions have to deal a lot with the intensity of the energy you leave behind. Um, so that if someone had like a major attachment, like they often say, like with like hauntings and whatnot, like I could see that would be like a definite reason for um, someone's presence to still be there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've learned a lot from Havoc as well. See, so I really like the idea of comparing, like occult and spiritual beliefs to current um, scientific theories and relating the two. And oftentimes they are pretty much the same thing, just in different language and with different levels of understanding. Like honestly, like a lot of like occult stuff is actually, and spiritual stuff I believe is a bit farther along knowledge wise than science just is kind of like lagging behind because they need to go through the empirical evidence and through uh, the process. The scientific process is a lot of like testing and whatnot, and if you don't have the technology or the knowledge to achieve those results consistently through testing, then they are quick to dismiss it as being like not true, and it's like, well, you're just not there yet. No, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people can definitely tell, can feel like at least on some level when there's some sort of like spirits around them. There's definitely people that I believe that are more susceptible to being able to detect those kind of things, and I feel like a lot of it also is based around um, temperaments and mentalities and whatnot as well. Like if you're like super not open to the possibility, like you're actually going to be putting up blocks against acknowledging it to begin with. So well, yeah, because like also Pensy, like the feelings you're putting off towards like missing them is also going to be a source of energy for them to connect to stick around and keep an eye on you and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I pretty much think everything is a possibility. Especially since like I'm really big into like the learning about like quantum theory and quantum mechanics and stuff. And you really just can't rule out anything involving that because it's just there's just so many factors that it's like nearly impossible to say no, this is not something that's happening, because it might be happening in a different branch of reality that has been like created through different different circumstances and whatnot. So no, yeah, I miss my grandmother as well. She passed recently, and she was one of the few people that was consistently like supportive of me as well. So I haven't really I haven't really felt her here. I feel like her attachments were more before she passed, she had dementia really bad, so a lot of her, when I would talk to her, she would talk as if she was in the past and she was a younger, like as like a child essentially, and she would talk about her mother a lot. So I feel like her attachments are probably her final attachments were probably more into where she like grew up and whatnot. So she probably resides there, if I had to guess. I mean, we did spend a lot of time together. Like I lived with my grandmother for a while, but like I said, like in her final moments, she was more attuned mentally to like her past. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the hair color, and I'm also on the wrong layer. What was I working on? Oh, I was working on dark part of the dress. That's what I was working on. Yeah, it was very difficult to interact with my grandmother. Not knowing who I was, and sometimes it was kind of funny because she'd be like, "You better not be like flirting with me because I have a boyfriend," and I'm like, "Grams, I'm your grandson. You don't have to worry about that." She's like, "Okay, well, just so you know." I'm like, "All right. Well, I'm happy that you have a boyfriend then." Putting some of the environmental colors here that are some of the reflections and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, my grandma was awesome anyway. Like, she is such a fireball. Like my whole family from up north, like a lot of them had like really really aggressive cancer and whatnot, and the doctors had told them they had like months to live and blah blah blah, and they're just like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And they did not. They lived until they were like in their like late 90s. Some of them, one of them lived to be over 100. So I was just like, holy shit! Like that just shows how much will can influence your like your lifespan and your health and whatnot. They just like refuse to pass. They're like, nah, I'm good. This is where I want to be. It's like, hell yeah. You tell them. I like it. Yeah, that side of my family was awesome. I do miss them a lot. They were a lot of fun, and they were very supportive as well. Whose right is a whore? Haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door now? I still love this song. It's so funny. With us and us, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically, our marriage is saved. Alright, let's see. Trying to find a gradient map that will work well with this. I can either do the environmental colors or I could do the dress colors. I'm kind of thinking the environmental colors would probably be the way to go. So this has a lot of the similar colors here. Let's try this. We'll see how it works. That on there, and let's put it as like soft light. Ooh, that does look pretty nice. So there's that. I'm going to see if I can adjust some of the levels so we can get some of that detail back. So we'll do the tone curve. And let's bring up some of that, and we'll bring this up and lighten it up a bit. Let me bring this up a little bit more down here. There we go. Now we can see more of it. I do want it to be darker towards the bottom, but not too dark that we can't read the details. I think that's about good. That looks pretty tasty. I like that. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of color correction. Since this is a commission, I'm going to be putting more, like, you know, care into it and whatnot. Not that I don't care about my other artwork, it's just that this is, like, you know, something I'd rather take my time on and have it make look really, like, better. So maybe just a tad bit of blue, maybe like one, maybe a little bit of red. I don't want to go too hard with this. Let's do 3 halftones. Let's do a little bit more. There's the yellow for the lighting. And maybe a tad bit of green. No, the green's too much. Maybe some cyan, a little bit. Oh, nice. Is it on the Discord or is it in on Twitter? There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Looks like it reads well enough from a distance. Hell yeah. So I believe this part of the dress is done. Let's go ahead and merge that together. And then we'll do duplicate. Chromatic aberration. We're not doing 50. That's way too much. I think I'm going to do a little more subtle. I'm going to do 10% this time around. I noticed lately I've been going a little bit too hard on the dialing it up a little bit too much. So I want to make sure that it isn't just looking like an image that's kind of like just janky. I think that looks good. Let's merge all that together. Yeah, there we go. That's nice and subtle. I like that. Hell yeah. Ooh, goth punk emo month. I like it. And thank you, Bensy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like the way it's turning out too. pretty cool. Let's see. Maybe I can at least get the dark part of the armor done after this. So let's do that. That's also one of the next largest ones. Well, actually, technically, the hair is a larger spot. It's okay. I'll do the armor. The armor will be fun to do, so we'll just focus on that. I do have to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Should not be long. Let me put up my be right back screen. All right, I'm back. Let me go ahead and take the screen down. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, Nepha. I didn't even see that as I was walking away. Let me go ahead and get some water. Make sure I'm sitting up straight. Let me go ahead and save. Definitely don't want to lose any progress. That would make me super sad. Thanks. I need to be reminded of such things. So, all right, I'm gonna do my some of my soft shadows here first. I think. This is like stepping out a bit more of the shadow here, so we'll have some high contrast going on over there. The side isn't going to be exposed to light quite as much. The light's going to be blocked under this booba area, of course. And just a little bit up in here. I got to remember too that this right here is not a metallic material, so that's one thing that's made like such a huge difference in my art lately is just separating the materials from each other makes things look like way more believable. Oops. Oh no, it's okay. No worries. You didn't miss anything. At least that I'm aware of. I just started working on the dark part of things, so oops, I just realized I didn't put anything on the sword slash spear over there. I'll have to do that in a sec too. It's already got a lot of like shadowing though from my inking, so it's probably okay. Thanks. Yeah, I wanted this to be more of like kind of like a satinish like kind of material. I didn't want it to look too much like it was like actual drapes, like like a heavy material. So there is actually, before I merged it all, there was like a satin texture on it, but it didn't really show up like super crazy. I think it got kind of lost in the sauce, but that's okay. But yeah, a lot of um material rendering is just the like the glossiness and the texture levels and whatnot. So with these metal parts, I need a lot of like high contrast with like the material rendering on it. I wanted the this darker metal to have more of like a kind of like a worn texture to it as well. So I'm gonna try to achieve that. Oh yeah, yeah, that's real important. If his one arm doesn't look metallic enough, that's definitely a key part of the character. So yeah, you definitely do. It's funny because the client asked me too if I had any other like influences other than like the references they provided, and I meant to tell them I've been playing a shitload of Final Fantasy 16. So that has had a quite an impact on my design sensibility for this. Like I've been thinking about my design stuff a little more like practically. I am always heavily influenced by everything that I'm playing. Like when it comes to my artwork, but again, it's a professional like reference like source. So by emulating that, I can do things that are fantasy but still be grounded in some form of practicality. Like at first, I didn't really like a lot of the designs from like Final Fantasy. Not only this 16, but from like the MMO. But I ended up really it ended up really growing on me. So oh, nice. Is that the one where it's in like feudal Japan? Some of my base here is a little didn't fill in all the way, so I'm gonna make sure I do that. Nice. I don't know. A lot of people said they didn't really like it, and like, I mean, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in a very long time. I think the last one I played was like the second one, so I can't really. I have no comparison. Yeah, I mean, as long as like the core part of the game is intact, like, I don't really see what the issue is. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that people just we're getting back into the extremes with people, but people that don't like any sort of diversity or representation are usually the ones crying about things all the time. Why isn't it just white people all the time? It's like, dude, other people exist, and you suck. So, or they're like, every single like female character has to be like some supermodel and not like a person that actually exists. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, you make it then. I don't know if any of you guys are into sports, but I feel like sports like oriented people are like that too. They're like, well, I would have done this, and it's like, yeah, as you're like overweight and falling apart because you've never taken care of yourself and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, yeah, you totally would do that. Oh yeah. I mean, there's one thing with like having knowledge for it, but like people that act like they know better than professional athletes. Like if they put me in, I would do this. It's like, no, you wouldn't. you would take you would take like 3 steps and you'd be on the ground like wheezing. Yeah, exactly. Like I was really into like MMA for a while, but a lot of the fans for that have made that sport incredibly toxic as well. So I'm just like, ugh. And like I never really been into like watching sports so much. Like I'd rather be physically involved in them, like actually do them. But I am in no condition currently to do any sort of sport, so I'm not going to pretend I am. Yeah, the armchair warriors. Oops. Let's block a little bit out here from that. Gotta try to consider my light sources here. Oh yeah, people trying to correct you. Yeah. Well, like, so like physical fitness is like one of those crazy things too, where it's really difficult to know like what's just somebody pushing something because it's like they're profiting somehow off of like their like routine, and then what is like actually like scientifically real. But then even then the scientific research changes all the time, where it's like, oh, doing this, 10 minutes a day is really good for you, and then like a month later it's like, no, that's actually terrible for you. And it's like, shit. What do I do then? So I just do whatever makes me feel the best when I'm done with it. I mean, I try things like I try new routines. I see if they work for me. If they don't, then I just, I either modify it or I scrap it and go back to what I know works for me. I still love your Hey Girl story, Havoc. That makes me laugh so hard. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're doing something towards like improving your health, then who cares? Like how you're doing it. Like even if you're doing it quote unquote wrong or whatever, at least you're doing something. That's better than most people. Yeah, exactly. Like there's tons of like workout routines and advice, and I'm like, that is not for me. I can't do that. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, Pensy. You have to be careful when you have injuries like you do. Um, you, it's a lot of it is just being very aware of your body's like limits and not pushing yourself. Like pretty much everybody's like exercise like routine is going to be different based on your circumstances, and some of it is genetics, and you know yeah, when you told me that, I was like, "That's amazing." I was like, "That's the funniest thing ever." I could just like picture the look of confusion on his face. Or saying something like, "Why, hello, fellow human." Like that too would also be funny. It's just the Steve Buscemi meme, but you're like clearly like an alien or something. Like that'd be hilarious. Nice, fancy. Oh, yeah. If you want, if you want some pointers on how to like assert yourself and especially deal with dudes, Havoc is the Demon Lord model. Certainly works well IRL. Just pretending that you have a horde of minions like off somewhere in some sort of lair, and you command them, like I'm sure is like great like visualization of how to deal with like shitty dudes. Grinder fluid. Nice. Some guys think that they're one and the same for some reason. And I don't know who was the first person to think that like insulting a woman is the best way to get to their heart or to get their interest, aka into their pants, probably. Like the whole negging thing is like the most like pathetic thing. Yeah, I mean, on the guy's side of things, things can be like they can be like super awkward, and you could be, not as experienced, or you have like a lot of anxiety, so you don't know what to say, and the fear of rejection. But it's like that's not the logical place it should go. I was actually joking with Havoc the other night about guys getting advice from other guys, especially ones that are like perpetually single and think that they know everything. I'm like, yeah, that's the best person to go to advice to. This is what women like, and then it's like they've been single for like fucking 20 years or some shit. I just don't know why like nobody will stay with me. I used to have a guy I knew, kind of friends with him. Like he was all right, but he thought he was like the absolute like ladies man. And I'm like just watching this dude from the outside, and I'm like, you're just so fucking cringe, man. But they would do the dumb thing where they would try to like force me into situations to like talk to girls. Like they would go walk up to like random girls when I was single and say that I said something or was interested in them. And I'm like, no, that's not exactly it. Like, I might think they're attractive, but that just like blew the whole situation into a way that I'm so uncomfortable. There was no way I'd be able to speak to them in a manner that like would be productive. So like purposely like putting somebody on the spot is just like the worst thing you can possibly do to somebody. Like it is not helpful. Oh yeah, I mean that was a long time ago. Like the last time it happened, like yeah, the girl was cute, but we were looking at a group of girls and they were asking me, he was asking me in particular which one I thought was the most attractive, and I told him, and he went to completely the wrong girl. I mean, she was cute too. She was really cute as well, but I was just like, I had no idea what to say because I wasn't like, I don't know. It was really embarrassing, basically. But it doesn't matter because now I'm happily married. Oh, see, I had serious confidence issues when I was younger. I mean, I still sometimes have confidence issues, but now it's funny because like Havoc will be like that girl was like totally like flirting with you or into it, and I was like, oh, I just like was like a dial tone essentially about it. Yeah, it's like, well, that's the worst part. That was actually like that was after high school. I didn't even know that dude in high school. Like I'm pretty chatty like IRL, like if like I'm at a party and I've had a couple drinks and like somebody initiates a conversation with me. But otherwise I'm pretty quiet for the most part. Like I'll perk up if like I hear something that I'm into, like really into. I'll be like, "Oh shit, I have something relatable with these people." But most of the time, I'll be in situations where, nobody's into like anime or games or artwork. So I'm like, shit, what do I do now? Or they're like people that are obviously there just to like hook up with people, and I'm not there for that. I'm just there to hang out. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. No, I would talk to you, Pensy. We would find common ground. You'd probably be wearing like a cool like anime shirt or something, or something like that. I'd be like, hey, let's be friends and talk about anime. That's my head canon. Oh my god, online initiating is even worse because it's like, what is the first thing that you say to somebody? And it's hilarious because we've been watching all these videos recently about like just saying hey or whatever is like the number one like initiation killer for like online dating. And like I can't even count how many times I've done that. I was just like, oh, this used to be me. I'm like, I had no idea what to say, so I just said, hey. Oh yeah, that's the funnest thing in the world is watching you decimate someone. But they were being an asshole. Like they were definitely being an asshole. Oh, that's cute. I like that story. It's funny because I had been near Havoc several times, like IRL before. Like we had been to like the same parties, and we're actually like in pictures, like sitting next to each other, but we hadn't really interacted. And now we're married. It's like I wish I had talked to her sooner. I don't know. It's just funny how things like that work out. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't in the stage of improving myself yet, so it probably wouldn't have gone as well. I mean, maybe it would have. I don't know. I wasn't pliable to that stage yet to start changing my mentality on things. I was also heavily relying on like my looks and being in like super shape at the time to get anybody's attention. So, I mean, granted, I was still nice to people like when they talked to me, but I just had nothing else really to go by to have any sort of way to get anybody's attention. So, I do miss being in super shape. That was a lot of that was very convenient. Hey, I know now, Havoc. For sure. You were like, I'm getting that one. Oh yeah. I mean, like it's easy to go back and like see yourself as like cringe and embarrassing, but it was a necessary part of your life to have happened, and being embarrassed about it now is kind of just like, it's not really productive. So the coulda wouldas have long passed. So what matters is not only the present but how you move forward. I was probably sloshed out of my mind because at the time I was drinking fucking Four Locos because they were like $4 to get wasted off of like two of them. Four Loco me had no filter. especially especially for the girls I didn't want to be interested in me that were interested in me at those parties. I had one of them come in like I was on the couch just chilling, and she like lay down and put her like head in my lap, and I was literally like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she thought she was being all cute and stuff, and I'm like, "No, get off of me. I am not interested in you." Oh, it was nice talking to you too. I hope you have a really good workout, and I hope no one bothers you. And just remember, if they do, embarrass them first. Fancy, you're saying your sister does the like putting her like head in random people's laps when she's interested in them. Oh wow. I mean, to be fair, that does work on some people. I just was like, no. Like I am not interested in you. She was so upset about it. I was like, get off me. To me, that's just like also like way too forward. Like if I don't know you well enough, like I don't want somebody like touching me like that. Like especially being in like my personal space where I'm already just uncomfortable existing. It's like a breach of consent. See, I was already drunk and I was not pulling any punches at that point. So I was just like I was like actually like what the fuck are you doing? Like actual words that came out of my mouth. I was just like I was just like so upset that it happened. And the worst part about it is because like I knew what she was doing because I watched her go around the party and do it to like four other people. So I was like, nah. Hey, it's okay to assert yourself. You gotta establish boundaries with people. it doesn't make you a bad person for sticking up for yourself. Like if someone is violating your somebody especially is violating like something that's like that where it's like a consent issue, that is definitely more than acceptable to say no or to voice very strongly that that is not okay. Yeah, it is really difficult like when you have like anxiety and whatnot. Um like I said, I did it freely because I was very drunk, and I'm very drunk, I have absolutely no filter. Like I will 100% say what's on my mind. Most of the time I'm incredibly silly because, that's just my natural state. Yeah, anxiety is a bitch. It is incredibly difficult to deal with. Let's see. So some of this plane here would be hitting the light. I don't know. There's definitely certain scenarios where you just have to have like your own survival instincts basically, like especially when it comes to your personal space and your mental and emotional health. And if someone is trying to manipulate either of those two things, then it's best to just nip it in the bud as quickly as possible. Be like, hey, I'm not going to stand for this. Oh no, yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's definitely not the best place to go for advice, especially when it comes to respecting people's boundaries. Oh yeah, I mean you can still love the person or and all that. I mean it isn't bad advice, to say hey, stick up for yourself when you need to, regardless of like what that person believes. But I've had to come to terms to like even if somebody is like family, if they're doing something that's like harmful to you, it doesn't matter if they're family or not. Like you still have to have your boundaries and that kind of thing. So as long as your brother's still like nice to you and still like respects like who you are as a person and your identity and all that, like that's still fine. If he's still like looking out for you regardless, that's okay. Even though those beliefs are kind of contradictory to your situation. What song is this? It just makes me want to ride a motorcycle. Hell yeah. It's called Shotgun Blues. This is awesome. This is definitely like some like I'm also too terrified to ride a motorcycle, but this is like motorcycle rock. I like it. Well, that's good. I mean, as long as you guys still have like like a positive relationship for the most part. I just know that it's really difficult, like, when a family member is acting counter to what a family should be. Like, respect and human dignity still applies regardless if you're related or not. And if someone isn't following that, then they're not your family. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that that's working out for you. Like every now and then, I miss my brother, but he's just, I don't know. He's just he can't behave himself for long enough for him to be a part of my life. So, and it sucks because, like, I know where it stems from, but it just doesn't justify it, like, at all. Like, things like that will never be justifiable. Like, you have to be aware, at least this, at some level, that what you're doing is like harmful for somebody. So, back. All right. Okay, Pensy. I'm gonna at least try to finish this layer before I wrap up stream today. So you got time. The hook of the song makes me laugh. It's definitely difficult to try to think of the planes for some of this. I mean, I feel like I did a fairly good job of like translating, but it's like my brain is kind of like having a hard time process. I'm probably getting hungry. That's definitely advice I can definitely give. If you are hungry when working on art, take a break, get something to eat. It will help. You got to have the calories to make your brain work. You know, it's just like the thing where Neff was reminding me to drink water and stuff. Yeah, do that too. That's very important. Stay hydrated, stay fed. That's my PSA. Let's see. So this is going to be more of like a kind of cloth material here. So we want some little bit of some gradient here. Oh no. Yeah, I got to do that too after stream. I got to give Vegeta his wet food. He doesn't always eat it right away, so I'm not like too terribly concerned. Sometimes he's a brat. And then sometimes he has eaten the other kitty's food that he's not supposed to eat, and then he has stinky poos for the rest of the day. So that's fun times. All right, so this is more forward, so we can have more highlight down here. Oh yeah. Well, they act like they're gonna like starve all the time through. They're like, "Oh my god, I haven't had food in like
Oh,
2 seconds. Why is my bowl empty, Father?" Even though they literally just ate the food that you just gave them. They're like, "More." Vegeta's especially like that with treats.
mm-hmm.
But like, I just gave you treats, dude. And he like looks at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. Or he'll go over to Havoc like and start like bothering her like I didn't just give him treats. He's a treat fiend. Dude would eat cookies all day if he could. Cookies and cookies only. Oh yeah, I mean Vegeta's my precious baby, so I do like super spoil him. It is my fault that he's the way he is, because I spoil the shit out of him. Like if he could actually talk and he like told people I don't take care of him, I'd just be like, bro. I would pick him up, and swaddle him in front of whoever, and he'd have to act like he didn't like it. I'm not purring, you're purring. Yeah, exactly. He does that all the time. He never feeds me. Shut up. I feed you all the time, dude. That big old ass you got says otherwise. Vegeta has cake. He is cake. Do a DNA test and it would say cake. Yeah, exactly. That is true. DBZ Vegeta also got that cake. This stout little body. Oh man, I just recently saw a thing about their actual heights. He's so little.
How so little?
What'd
How little is he?
you say though?
How little is he?
Oh my god, I don't remember. He's not much taller than Krillin.
It's all hair.
Yeah, it's all his hair. Yeah. I think the actual animators give him a bunch of height when he's next to Goku. I think Goku is five. Goku's supposed to be 5'7" or 5'9", something like that. I know Broly's hella tall. He should be.
Mm-hmm.
Broly is that Giga dude. Principal, but yeah, yeah, just his hair alone is 6'3". You're right. I should never question such things. I don't know why. He's one of my favorite characters. I like him so much. I like him way better than Goku. I think I like him too because he actually has some character development to him. He's not the same character and actively thinks about the way he used to be. Actually completed a redemption arc. He did mess it up for a little bit when he was Majin Vegeta, but you know what? We'll forgive him. Yeah, Goku does have brain damage.
That's not make sense.
Almost there with this. See, a little bit of this would probably be catching some light over here. Zoom out, make sure that it's still reading right. Cool. A little bit of the heel back here would be catching some light. It's probably about it as far as the back part. I'm gonna give this a tiny bit of blur. We'll do 2. And we're gonna lower the opacity. Not that. And what I think I'm gonna do is get this kind of maroonish color. Well, actually, we should do the colors that are kind of closest to it, since it is reflective metal. I'm going to do a bit more of a solid brushing with this. I think that'll look better with the metal surface. Top 5 DBZ characters. I like Vegeta. Let's see. I like Vegeta. I like Piccolo. I like. I actually thought Hit was pretty cool. I like the new Broly. So that's 3. I love Whis. Whis is amazing. That's 4. Trying to think of who else I really like in Dragon Ball. Well, you said DBZ. I don't know. I'm including like super characters. I think it's all kind of lumped together for me. So I need one more. I do kind of like Frieza. He is an ass too, so that's probably 5 for me. I did say Piccolo in there, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't mention Piccolo, I also really like Piccolo. Piccolo is invited to the cookout.
Mm-hmm.
Piccolo is the number 1 stepdad of all time. Nobody can take that title from him. There's actually really funny, there's like a show where they do like comedic presentations, and one of them is a this black guy talking about who's invited to the cookout in anime, and it's hilarious. It's so good. It's so funny. I mean, I do like a lot of the characters. I think just Goku himself is probably like. I mean, he has cool moments like during the fights, but that's just a given because he's like, the MC. But like personality wise, he's just a dumbass. I mean, I know he has brain damage, but I don't know. I don't like him as much as the other characters. Most anime, though, I usually like a secondary or side character more than the MC anyway. Oh yeah, yeah, Jirobe. Yeah, yeah, Jirobe's actually kind of OP if you think about it. They were having so much trouble with Vegeta, and he just like cut off his tail with like not too much issue. Also, is that dude immortal? He never seems to age either. Yeah. Well, it's like Roshi. Like they have moments in Super where he's like keeping up with Goku in like Super Saiyan Blue. So yeah, probably that makes sense. Just goes in and hangs out with like Korin when he's starting to actually age. But he hangs out with that witch too, and she doesn't really age. Dababa. Oh, his sister? I don't know. See, I haven't actually watched a OG Dragon Ball, so I don't know quite as much about like the other characters. Oops, a little sloppy there. Definitely, definitely have to take a break after I finish this layer. Actually, I should do some of this color across the bottom here. Ah, that makes sense. Older sister. Okay, cool. Oh, I like this song. Ah, why? Why are you going off? Yeah, you should definitely do that. I mean, I feel like your art is distinct enough that people can tell that it's yours just by looking at it, but it is really good to put your signature on it. That way, other people can't claim your artwork. And your art should be something that you're proud of. So putting your name on it is the way to show that. Let's see, we're almost there. The side should actually be this color because it's closer to the skirt. I am broken too. I've opened the places as you. I reopen my wounds. Open my wounds. Actually, I should do all the colors on this side. That's probably too much. Open my wounds. Oh, yeah, same. It just sucks that it's Twitter is such a good place to actually get your stuff out there and get interactions. I mean, hell, that's where I met most of you guys, I think. So um, it's just having to filter out like all like the negative stuff and ignore that. Like I have like a big following on Instagram, but I don't feel like I get most of like my stream traffic and stuff from my artwork from there. Like I feel like people just kind of stay on Instagram, which is fine. It would be super nice, like super cool if I could convert those like thousand some people uh, to my stream. I'd be doing pretty good for myself if that were the case, but it's okay. I'm working on it. I've been trying to share like more stuff on there and more reels and whatnot. So, oh yeah, I also don't care for uh, who it's owned by myself, but I can't really do anything about that. So, and it's not like I support him, which I certainly don't. But it's like my options are limited, so you know. Like I mean, Blue Skies is fine, but it's just not as widely used. Like I feel like it would take like an absolute like there would have to be like a major exodus from X for Blue Skies to be more viable. But even like Blue Skies is getting like also started to get flooded with like political stuff as well. So it's like almost inescapable at this point. I don't know. I just post my artwork, I post positive stuff, and I post silly stuff. So those are the things that I can control. So that's what I'll continue doing. All right, this is a different material over here. So I'm going to use the airbrush over here. Oh, that. Yeah, well, I noticed one of my issues. It's kind of like the same issue that I was talking about with the types of followers that we have. If everybody that follows you is also artists, you know, a lot of us are all in the same financial situation, so getting commissions from other artists is a lot less viable than getting people that are want commissions that are non-artists, because those people are going to be uh, actually going to have the money to be able to do the commissions. So it's like that weird state where like you know where you need to get the stuff from, but it's like the hardest like source to get like consistency from. Like the person I'm doing this commission for, they have a DeviantArt, so I assume that they are an artist. I don't know if maybe they just made a DeviantArt just to get commissions from people either. Like I don't know their like story. I'm grateful that they're commissioning me and that they actually are interested in commissioning me further, which is nice. Like I'm extremely grateful for that. I was like losing my mind. Like it is so hard to get commissions. I was telling Nixie what would probably be the best way to do is to kind of like make like smaller like goals, like say you're saying you have 700 followers, maybe make it like a goal to try to convert like maybe like 30 starting out to people that are like people that could potentially help you along in your art journey, that are willing and excited to see your work come out and want to support it like through financial means. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but you could at least like make it a goal. Figuring out how to do that is the hard part. I can't tell you how to do it right yet because I haven't achieved it. So, but I would like to. Like, I mean, even this one is the most I've ever been paid for a commission, and it's still like way lower than I probably should charge. So, especially if I want to, have this be my source of income where I like live off of it. But again, I'm grateful that I got it, and I am grateful that they were even generous enough to pay me what they did pay me. So no disrespect whatsoever to them. Duplicate, and let's put this on top. We'll do it as add glow. I probably shouldn't have blurred that as much as I did. Kind of sucks. That's okay. Yeah, same. Same. Trust me. I think down here I need to kind of erase this away a little bit. It needs to not be as shiny right there. Just because it's a different material. Maybe if I turn this up a little bit, that might help. Yeah, there we go. Helps with the difference in and then we'll do this, and we'll bring it down here, change the color on it for the refraction of light. That, so we got it nice and shiny there. And I've got some textures on here. I think I need to up my textures a little bit so they show through. Let me zoom in, just take a look to see if they're coming through at all. Might need to bring them up some more. It's still kind of hard to see them. Alright, it's starting to show up a little bit. You know what? I think I know what I need to do. We're gonna get rid of this real quick. And we're going to fix this. Oops. Make that a new layer. I'm gonna do that. Then I can bring it down to like 50%. I need it to be a bit sharper because it is the metallic material. And then down here I can dial it back. There we go. That looks better. And let me find my gradient map that I like to use for this. Hopefully it'll still look good. Oh, yeah. So we had originally agreed on 70, but we used PayPal, so there was a difference in the fees and whatnot. So they paid me $75 for it, which is still pretty good. Also, because they have interest in commissioning me further. So like this is actually the most anybody's paid me for a commission so far. So I will I will take it with great appreciation. Like I don't know, I'm still like kind of wary about negotiating. Let's see if I can make this look even more metallic. That would be great. Let's go into my metals here. I mean, like I'm certainly an advocate for trying to get as much as your artwork is worth, but it's also one of those things where you have to have the balance of like you have to have like established yourself as well too. Oh wow, that's awesome. That kind of lightens it up a little bit too much, so maybe not. Maybe not this, but maybe. If I turn down the opacity, it might bring out more of like the metal aspect to it. That's a little too light. Let's not use that one. What about this? Oh, that gives it like that weird kind of like edge to it. Decisions. Maybe not using a metal texture on top of it at all might be better. I don't want to like overdo it and then ruin what I did. That's probably fine with just that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one with like the colors of the environment. So let's see, where was that? Maybe I should have held on to it. I think I used this one. Soft light. And let's turn the opacity like way the hell down. That might be fine. And then I'll just do a tone curve so we can correct the readability of it all. Oh, yeah, that's that's a lot of work and money on your part with like the whole doing the shipping and then the size and all that. So I think that's an appropriate amount. Make sure there's a good amount of contrast, but like I said, there's still readability. I need to turn some of the brightness up. Maybe this needs to be a different gradient map. That is also a possibility. You know, we could do maybe this one as a metal. That might look good. That makes it look kind of like copper. That dulls it out. It's like kind of silvery. Alright, we'll go back to the original gradient map I had. I think that's better. Oh yeah, let me get some water. Good call. I am almost done with this layer, I believe. And I'm going to take a break and get some food and stuff. Let me do some color correction here. I think if I make some of this a little bit warmer, might look better. It might be too intense. Let me turn down the cyan a little bit here. This back. Maybe a little bit of blue on the midtones. I don't know what to do. Meh. You know what? I'm just going to save it. And then instead of merging it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at it from a fresh perspective and see if there's anything I should adjust on it. Because I don't want to just commit to it and then not be happy with it. So yeah, yeah, gotta keep me on track. So let's see here. Let's make it nice and big here, and I will turn off my VTuber head so you guys can see. There it is. So yeah, this is what we have so far today. I think it turned out pretty good so far, so I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to work on this off stream as well. Well, I'm glad you think it looks good. I think it looks good too. I'm pretty happy with it. So I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on stream today. We had a lot of fun. We had a good conversation. You guys are amazing. I will be taking tomorrow off from streaming, and then I'll be back on Thursday. I'm going to start working on SJM's OC art raffle image. Of course, I'll still be working on this commission in between. The commission is going to take priority because they have paid me and they're patiently waiting. If you guys are not already following me, go ahead and give me a follow to see when I go live. If you enjoy the type of content I do, please consider subscribing. That would help me out tremendously. Oh my God, I'm starting to burp. Sorry. Excuse me. I